All right, today we're finally going to get started on the 347 stroker build. This is an engine out of a F100 pickup truck, flat tabbed cam, and we're going to tear this all the way down to the block, tear everything out of it. And I have a stroker kit from Scat and some custom billet heads for it, 185 CFM. And then I'm still on the hunt for what I'm going to do for an intake, and probably going to switch it over to a roller cam and EFI with like a Holley type electronic. It almost looks like a carburetor, but it's electronic fuel injection that way. So this is what we're working on today. Come along and enjoy the ride. We got the first valve cover off. This engine hasn't run in quite some time, but it's pretty suited up. Not a big deal. All this is going to get replaced anyway. Same kind of stuff on this side. A little dirty and crusty. Time to take the head off, or the intake off. Might need to pull that distributor out. I think I had. Hold down with gun on there. got both heads off. And looking down on the cylinders, no crazy wear. You can still see a little bit of the crosshatch in there. Pistons are a little dirty and carboned up. I'm sure it's got a few miles on it. This one here had some oil in it, as you can see there. But still pretty good. No crazy, a little bit of rust in there, but we're boring this 30 over to get to that 347 stroker part of it. But that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go to this side and we'll get the water pump, balancer, fuel pump, oil filter. I did drain this before, so hopefully there's not too much oil left in there. And then pull out those lifters, see what they look like. Alright, got all the lifters out. Well, except for two. They probably kind of, I don't know, rusted or something down in the bottom there, but that's fine. This is the only one here, and it's rough and rusted. Everything else looks really clean and nice, so we'll see what the cam looks like. I don't know if you probably can't see it down in there, but I'll pull it out here in a minute. And we'll take a look at that, and then I'll just punch those other two lifters through once we get the crank out. Alright, I got all of the oil pan bolts out. We're going to pop this oil pan. It has the original cork gasket on it, so that ought to be fun. Here goes the timing cover. Pretty nasty. And there's our bottom end. Little sludgy in the bottom. Doesn't really matter. None of this really matters, honestly, because it's all going to get replaced anyway. All we're really after is this block. And so far the block is good. So I'm going to go ahead and get the oil pump off. And the timing set. That's pretty sloppy too. Not a big deal. Like I said, it's all getting replaced anyway. And then once I get all of that off, then I'll start popping pistons. I've got a bunch of work done here. I've got all the pistons out. All of them look pretty decent. We do have some issues though, and we'll kind of go over that. You can see down at the bottom of that bore, that's rust. That's more rust. That's even worse rust. And then if we go on this side, they all look pretty decent for the most part. The problem is these pistons, if you can see that or not, come on, focus. They are stamped 30 over. So this engine has already been bored over 30, and with the rust issues that we have in here, that means that this block is not going to be good for what I need it to be. I can't have it bored over 40. I've already purchased all the parts for this, so that's going to be kind of an issue. I'm going to start looking for a new block because I don't want to go 40 over, not with a 347 stroker engine. The cam looks pretty decent. It's got a little bit of wear on some of these. Some of it's kind of just rusted up from sitting, I think. But a little depressing. I've been sitting on this engine for a while. I should have probably popped the heads off and checked that out. Now I'm going to scramble to find another, hopefully this time. So if you don't know and haven't watched any of the videos on this engine, this is my second block. So kind of discouraging there, but life goes on. And we got this one all tore down. The only thing I have left to pull out is the cam bearings. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I'm going to reassess and see what I want to do with this one. But that's all for today. We'll pick up in the next video and we'll go over what the next plan is. Phil Fire Wrench Garage. Kind of a bad day today. The 347 stroker build is on hold. The engine that I bought for this off of Facebook Marketplace, which I was told had not been touched in the past, has been touched. It has been bored 30 over already, and I'm looking down the cylinders and there is rust in quite a few of them, and it would have to be bored out more. If you know engines on a 347 stroker, you definitely don't want to go to 40 over. I'm screwed. If you know of a good block, let me know.